John 5:25. Amen, amen, dico vobis, quia venet hora et nunc est, quando mortui audient vocem filii Dei, et qui audierent vivent. Truly, truly, I say to you that the hour comes, and now has arrived, when the dead will hear the voice of the Son of God, and those who hear will live. A couple of interesting things to note in this verse. First of all, you'll notice the structure is very similar to the last verse that we talked about, John 5:24. So if you haven't listened to that one, I would invite you to go ahead and do that. Here again is Jesus' typical way of speaking. Truly, truly, with this transliterated Hebrew word here, amen, amen. Truly, truly, I say to you all, you plural that is, that. Now, this is frequent in the Vulgate, and we've talked about this before. We don't really need quia here, since this is a direct quotation and not indirect discourse. We could just go straight to it, but this happens very often in the Vulgate that you get this introductory word here, quia. I say to you, and then here's what he says: the hour is coming. That is still coming. That's kind of the progressive present that we've got to understand there. It's on its way. And in fact, now is. Now, this is not quite how we would say it in English. We would say, and has now arrived, just for clarity. But there's a simpler way to say it in Latin, and this is it. The hour is coming and now has arrived when, that is the hour in which, the point when. Here's our subject of what comes after. Mortui, the dead, from probably you'll remember mortuus. You knock off the US ending there and slap on whatever happens to suit, whatever case happens to suit. Here, the nominative plural. The dead will hear. This is the future tense here, and this little e is what gives you the clue. Now, as I say to my students, when you're talking about the first and second conjugations of verbs, and how the future is expressed in those conjugations, it's easy because we can talk about the b infix, which always indicates the future, right? But what about the third and fourth conjugations? Here you've got to watch out for that characteristic e. You're not going to get this really easy sign that's easy to recognize no matter where you see it. You've got to pay attention for some of those present tense vowels switching out for a silent killer, this little e. It's very frequent among my students, and I remember struggling with this myself when I was first learning Latin. It's difficult to train yourself to recognize that really small change in the form of the verb. Of course, if this was present, we would have a u, right? Audiunt. But here we have audient, future tense. They will hear. So you've got to train yourself, and it just comes with practice. Don't worry if you catch yourself slipping up. That's normal. It takes a while. It takes some practice to notice that e. But once you've seen enough examples of the present tense forms, when you see the future forms, which just by the nature of speech and writing in ancient times are going to be somewhat less frequent than the present tense forms, you're going to start to really kind of get with the program. So don't be discouraged. It's a thing that comes with practice, but do try to notice. So they will hear the voice of the Son of God, two nice genitives there, and those who, remember, we might expect qui, but as we said before, we don't need an antecedent pronoun. We can just go directly into the relative clause. Those who, now this is a slight syncopation, a shortening of audiverent, future perfect. Literally, those who will have heard. In English, we would just say those who hear. And it's clear from context in English that we're talking about the future. Those who hear will live. Not we won't with a U. Remember, this is what we were talking about a moment ago, but that characteristic E indicating the future tense here.